Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story of the day is Friday's White House press briefing, where reporters questioned Karine Jean-Pierre on a litany of topics, all the way from the chief of staff being replaced by a diversity hire, raising the debt ceiling, classified documents, and illegal immigration. We got it all packaged for you really nicely today, folks. As always, support the show by hitting that like and subscribe button, leaving us a short, sweet comment down below. If you're unsure of what to write something as simple as good morning or good afternoon. We got an awesome community here on the Bald Brad channel that would love to engage and interact with you, as well as myself, not only in the live chat, but in the comment section below. Your help and support would be greatly appreciated. Well, our first segment of the day is a reporter asking about the chief of staff possibly leaving before Biden's term is over. And if he does, is basically a diversity hire going to fill his spot? Let's see what Karine Jean-Pierre has to say to this question.
Over the years.
And with the Chief of Staff news today, that position is one of the more powerful ones in Washington that has never been held by someone who is not white and male. Would the President commit to choosing a Chief of Staff who is not white and male if Jeff Zients were to leave before the end of the President's term?
Here's what I'll say to this. I'm certainly not going to get ahead of the President. That is not something that I can do from here. But look, and I kind of said it at the top, the Biden-Harris administration is the most diverse in history. That is a fact. And we expect this trend to continue. The cabinet is majority people of color for the first time in history. The cabinet is majority female for the first time in history. The majority of White House senior staff identify as female. 40% of White House senior staff identify as part of racially diverse communities. A record 6 assistants to the president are openly LGBTQ. And also if you think about our 30,000, about 3,000 appointees, 58% female, 51% people of color, 6% disabled, 31% first-generation Americans, 17 first-generation college grads, and 14%, when I say 17% first-generation college grads, I forgot to add that percent, and 14% LGBTQ. And I think that matters. This is a record that the President is truly proud of, and I think not just the President, all of us here who are members of his team.
Now, that might not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but she's a diversity hire. She sucks at her job. So when you make it all about your identity, right? Whether that's your race or you're handicapped or your abled body, all these ridiculous things, who cares about race? Who cares about all those things? I care about your qualifications and your character. God, who does that sound like? I don't know. Maybe MLK? But this is what the Democrat Party is all about. They're all about these diversity hires, and they're bragging about it, and they are one of the worst administrations out there. You don't have to look hard to find something that this administration helped cause in some way, shape, or form, all the way from gas prices to our foreign policy, and they suck all across the board. But they're going to brag about all these diversity hires that they have. And by the way, if you look at the ratio between males and females, I was told everything should be equally represented. But you have 58% females? What's going on? Why are we not 50-50 on males? Are you sexist? Is that what's going on here? You're sexist against males? And where's all the non-binary people? That's my question. Why are we just singling out? Because I was told there's well over 100 genders. Where's the rest of them? Why are you not doing better? You're the ones that pushing this agenda. What's going on in the White House? Should we be worried here? Should we be worried that you're not actually meeting and fulfilling certain quotas? Where's the chief diversity officer that you're implementing in the White House that all these universities are implementing and paying $700,000 a year? Why are you not paying $700,000 a year going towards a diversity hire if you're so serious about this? Should we be asking questions here, folks? Of course, I'm being facetious. It's all silliness. I care again about somebody's qualification. I care less about somebody's race. You can have entirely Black people running the show. I don't care as long as they are qualified and they know how to do their job and they're doing a great job at it. That is fine with me. I don't care. You can have all women there for all I care, as long as they're qualified, as long as they know what they're doing. But that's the thing, is when you push this whole diversity hire and inclusive equity, all this stuff, it diminishes that idea of qualification because you're limiting your pool of which you're polling from. And it doesn't help. It doesn't make for a better environment necessarily. Maybe in terms of culture it does, but not necessarily intellect. So let me know what you think about that one in the comment section below. Moving into our second segment of the day, we have talks about the debt ceiling. There's 2 clips on this. We'll talk about the first one, and then the next reporter in the next segment wants more of a clarification on really what's going on here. As always, we'll give our commentary. Support the show by hitting that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
To lay out for you.
On a separate topic regarding the debt ceiling, Senator Joe Manchin says in his recent private meeting with Speaker McCarthy that McCarthy said he has, quote, no intention on touching Medicare or Social Security. What is the White House reaction to hearing that? And do you agree with what the senator is saying there?
I just want to pause it here really quick because I want your take on this. I really do. Medicare and Social Security, more so Social Security, and I really do mean this, folks. Leave me a comment down below on this. There are talks that Social Security is going to go insolvent. I wouldn't say necessarily insolvent, but there are talks that you're going to receive anywhere from, let's say, 70 to 80% of Social Security. So you put in 100%, right? But you're only going to get 70 or 80% back because we just don't have the money to sit there and actually support or fund this thing. My question is that would you be opposed to grandfathering in everybody that's already paid into Social Security, and whoever hasn't, meaning those that are maybe 18 years or I guess 17-year older or less, or haven't paid into Social Security, they don't get that Social Security when they retire. Basically, we're cutting it off at a threshold because we can't keep paying into this thing. It's getting a little bit silly, a little bit ridiculous. Allow people to choose their own investment and retirement options rather than having the government handle it. I want to know what you think of all that. So you'll still get your Social Security, but basically the next generations that are up and coming aren't going to have that option of Social Security. I understand we have to ask questions, well, how are we going to pay for that? Would we have to up our Social Security then as a whole to pay for those that are currently going to retire or already in retirement? I think we can have a conversation about it. But what is your solution to all of this? Because we can't keep kicking this one down the road here. We'll have to keep increasing Social Security, what's taken out of our paycheck, and it's getting a little bit silly at the end of the day. I want to know your guys' solutions, and if you're opposed to grandfathering in people and then ultimately cutting off or having a threshold of those that can opt in or are eligible to opt in, meaning later generations here, those that are born now all the way to 17 years old. Let me know what you think.
Look, for months and months and months now, and many of you have reported this, they have been saying that they're planning to cut Social Security and Medicare. This is what Republicans have been saying for months. And you know, I have a few reporting from some of your colleagues, from your esteemed colleagues. Just the other day, the Washington Post headline is quote, House GOP eyes Social Security, Medicare, and spending battle, end quote. Or Reuters earlier in January, Republican House conservatives threatened debt limit default to cut social programs. That has been consistent with what House.
Social programs include more than just Social Security and just healthcare in general. So a little bit disingenuous of what she's talking about here. And I'm just telling everybody, because a lot of times people go, oh, you know, military is our number one expenditure. No, it's not. It's literally social programs make up the vast majority of our budget. You could literally just go on the government's website and look that up yourself. That is not like any news. But I always do this poll with students every year when I'm teaching finance, specifically a taxes unit, which is actually coming up here this week. I'll be teaching that unit. I asked them, I said, you know, what's the number one budget expenditure that the United States government uses? By far, like not even close, every year for the 4 years I've been teaching this, majority of students pick military because we push this idea that that's what all our money goes to. We never talk about the social programs. They need to be cut. It's ridiculous on how much we are spending. It is ridiculous. Social programs must be cut. We can't have empathy in politics all the time because empathy in politics is harmful. You make bad decisions that aren't necessarily good for everybody, but they're good for a certain subset of the population, which leads to bad policy a lot of the times. It doesn't mean we can't have empathy. It doesn't mean we can't do some sort of charity to help those people and uplift them in some way, shape, or form, but constantly having the government step in as baby daddy and do all the work for them isn't the way government was created in the first place from the founding, even to modern day. But you have these elected politicians in the Democrat Party and some in the Republican Party, by the way, that have been pushing this idea that government needs to sit there and support its citizens, when again, that wasn't the main function of government. Doesn't mean there doesn't need to be a safety net. There does, but not in any way, shape, or form of what we're doing now. It's getting, again, a little bit ridiculous.
Republicans have been saying they want to, hold hostage the debt. so that they want to default on it so that they can cut Social Security, so that they can cut Medicare. And let's not forget, these are programs that the American people have paid into. We're talking about veterans and senior citizens here. And here's another one. For example, here's a Fox News headline from less than a month ago. Before Election Day, Republicans are using debt limit hike to overhaul entitlement programs if entrusted with majority. And this is what we have seen for months and months and months. This is what they have been saying for months and months and months.
But doesn't it seem like McCarthy's signaling he's not going to be touching those?
I understand the question, but I'm telling you what his Republican conference has been saying for some time now. And they continue to say that. I just read an article from earlier this week that said that is what they want to do. And here's the thing. As you talk about, the debt ceiling, as we talk about this conversation that we've been having for weeks about their responsibility and what they should be doing, Congress, both Republicans and Democrats, in a bipartisan way to deal with this issue that's been dealt with 78 times since 1960, we haven't seen a plan from Republicans. What's their plan? We know that what they want to cut, but what's their plan? And so, it's been very clear to us what they want to do, and it's been very clear all through this week as well. Yeah.
That is so rich that she's going to be like, well, what's their plan? What's their plan? Folks, we've been asking the Biden administration's plan on immigration literally since day one of them removing Trump's policies, and we've been waiting for it. Literally been waiting for it for 2 years now. It has not come. We don't have a plan whatsoever on illegal immigration. He's still breaking records. So it's just rich that when it works for her narrative, she'll push it. And I do want to say we'll give her some credit there. She's actually prepared reading different various articles. That was a good response from her. I got to give her that, right? We always hound her. We always hound Biden. That was a press secretary right there, you guys. Actually looking up. Granted, she was getting out of notebook. That's fine. But she had rebuttals to, hey, this is what people are saying. These are what conservative outlets are saying. This is what GOP is saying. Great job. And by the way, I'm okay with the GOP cutting social programs. 100% okay. That's called making a budget. You have to cut. You guys, we do this in our individual lives all the time. We cut our budget. We trim down the fat, right? We can't all have luxury items. We have to trim down. We're not always going to have the best healthcare in the world because of where we're at in our social aspect in terms of how much we make. Maybe we can't afford it. That's life. I do that. You do that. Everybody has to cut some areas. And so when the government does it, we all get upset because we expect a handout from the government. But again, that's the problem with government within itself and the problem with our American culture right now that needs to change. Well, moving into the third segment, we have a clarification here from Karine Jean-Pierre because a reporter is asking for more of a clarification on, well, what should be done then? Should we just raise the debt ceiling again because we've done it, as you stated, 78 times? Is that the reasonable thing to do here? Is that the right thing to do? Or should we really just analyze the budget and see what we need to cut out? We need to stop doing what we're doing because it's leading us in the wrong direction. Here's her response. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, folks.
Yeah, may I follow up on that, please? If the Republicans in the House do present a plan for conditions for what they would raise the debt limit under, will you start negotiations with them on that plan? What would be the point of them presenting you with a list of demands?
Well, what I'm saying is they want to cut, but they're just saying this rhetoric that's incredibly dangerous, that is very dangerous to the full credit and of our country, right? You think about the debt ceiling, you think about the debt limit. We're talking about debt that has been racked up by Congress, right? But we continue to say this should be done when it comes to the debt limit, the debt ceiling, it should be done without condition. That doesn't change anything. I'm just laying out how they're proceeding here. It's such in a reckless way. And so we're just calling that out, but it doesn't.
What? You guys, this is literally crazy line of logic. And for those that are listening on the podcast, we do have an audio version of it. Go over to Podbean or check out the links below. I put that in air quotes because this is crazy. This is what she's doing is irresponsible from that podium, telling the American public, oh, let's just pass it through. It's not a big deal. But yeah, when you want to actually go through the budget because Congress has the keys to the coin purse, and that's their job is to go through the budget and make sure, we're not spending freaking money galore that we don't have. And that clearly we need to cut things because it's getting a little bit silly here on what we're doing and we keep kicking the can down the road. Now it's considered reckless to look at your budget and trim. Let me know in the comments, you guys, is this crazy? Or let me know in the live chat right now. Am I Am I out of line? Because that just seems like the basic thing to do is to look at your budget and go, we don't need that. That is really stupid. We need to stop doing this. Sorry, we can't have the greatest of great of this or that because we keep spending money that we don't have. But it's reckless, you guys. It's reckless to do that. You want to know what's reckless? Keep raising the debt ceiling. You're going to be really screwed when we do that. Again, I keep saying this. On average, the average American taxpayer owes over like $250,000 to the government. Yes, you heard that correctly. We'll give a range of it, $200,000 to $250,000 you owe, and your husband or wife owes too. So you together owe $500,000 to the United States government. Do you have that laying around? And it's only increasing. It's only increasing. We haven't even talked about your state. That's just federal. That is just federal. So, hey, if you have $250,000 laying around, or if you're married, $500,000 just laying around that the government's going to collect, let me know. But I sure in hell don't, and probably never will. But hey, let's just unconditionally do it. No conditions whatsoever. Let's just pass it through. Let's just continue to be idiots. That's basically what she's saying.
Change where we stand. It doesn't change the fact that we are not going to negotiate here. This is something that should be dealt with like it has been many, many times before. In the last administration, 3 times.
And they were
Kevin
wrong.
McCarthy, other House Republicans
Republicans were wrong
under the last administration. And again, this is a bipartisan way that it's been done in the past, and it should be done this way again this year.
This is her logic. And again, watching her for, however long she's been press secretary after Jen Psaki, is her thinking about almost everything is because it's happened in the past, we must continue to do it. And where I get that from, and one of the main aspects that she utilizes this linear logic, if you want to call it that, is about abortion. Roe v. Wade is her idea of, well, it should stay in place because it's been around for 50 years. There's a lot of Supreme Court decisions that's been around for a long time that shouldn't have been around even in the first place, but were removed because they were bad. You could talk about black people in terms of the Supreme Court. So, there's a lot of things that were implemented that were bad that hurt black people that should have been removed and were removed, rightfully so. But if you used her logic, because it was already there and it had been there for so many decades, we should continue that forward. No, what's bad is bad. And just because we keep kicking the can down the road here with this national debt of raising the debt ceiling, because it's been around and we've done it 78 times, we should keep doing it. So we should keep shooting ourselves in the foot or punching ourselves in the face like you're Jim Carrey from Liar Liar. Yeah, I know that's real smart, Karine. That's real smart. Telling the American public to be idiots about their money. Furthermore, telling Congress to be idiots too. And you know what? Her going, well, Trump did it 3 times. He was wrong. Just because I'm a registered Republican doesn't make it like I'm beholden bowing down to these knuckleheads. He was an idiot for spending that much money. And I'm a Trump supporter. He was an idiot. He wasn't right on 100% of things. Nobody is. But he was dumb for how much money he spent. I like the money he spent on the military because that's one of the main functions of government, but not social programs. No. Social programs is not one of the main functions of government. It is not. You can look back at the Federalist Papers and get that idea out of your head. But, nobody wants to read the Federalist Papers because it's boring. But, God forbid we actually learn civics. We learn about the function of government and see what the government is supposed to do. And I'm not saying I know everything, but I do know the basics of it. And what she's pushing here goes against those very basics. Let me know what you think about all those comments that I wanted you to leave down below in terms of the Social Security idea from segment 2. Also, I want to know what you think about her being a knucklehead here telling, hey, let's just raise the debt ceiling so we can keep spending money galore and that you owe the government more money or your kids or your grandkids. Somebody's going to end up owing them more. Let me know what you think about that. Well, moving into our 4th segment of the day, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Peter Doocy here, asking kind of almost like a rapid fire type of questioning to Karine Jean-Pierre. Not much pushback here, but I want to give the man the spotlight he deserves because he is the Gladiator, folks. Hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment down below if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and hear the Gladiator.
Thanks, Karine. So when you talk about infrastructure, you say it's important for the president to have a chance to speak directly to the American people. Why doesn't he want to speak directly to the American people now that some big cities are bracing potentially this weekend for riots?
So he put out a statement yesterday, and I think when a statement comes from the President of the United States, it has a powerful impact. And he was very clear in that statement. He offered his condolences to the family of Tyree.
Folks, and we'll continue. I know I keep pausing, but that's what we're here for, right? The commentary, the input on it all, my opinion, somewhat, shape, or form, or maybe just like the antics that I do, meaning the facial expressions and all the silliness. In hand to God, I follow politics probably way more than the average American does. I find it humorous. I find it comedic. I find it hilarious. Of course, I find it frustrating at times. Most people find it the reverse, right? They find it more frustrating than comedic. I find it hilarious. I wasn't even aware that there was a press release out. So if I follow this way more, vastly more than a general American does, then why would you send out a press release? So it just shows you the disconnect from the White House. I would imagine a lot of the vast majority of Americans had no idea there was a press release out or a statement from the president, unless they saw it on CNN or Fox News. And other than that, I mean, you want to get the man on the podium to speak to the American people. That gets way more views. That gets way more, I guess, clickbait viewership from the American people. But you doing something basically snail mail, right? Like on a piece of paper. I'm sorry, you're not with technology nowadays, lady. Like, get the guy on like Instagram or something, you know, where you can reach these kids. Snapchat is the big one that they're using nowadays. Like, the American public, you know, you should use all facets, all forms of technology here. But you're going, oh, well, it's powerful. Not really. Not really. Not at all. Seeing that man do a bunch of gibberish so we can get some clicks and views here of him stumbling through his words. That's what we want to see. We want to see him stumble and fumble through his words so Bald Brad can make segments of it, post it on YouTube Shorts. If you haven't checked those out, we got a lot of shorts. Check those out, folks. Some with well over 1 million views, multiple with well over 1 million views. But, you know, we need the content, Karine, so you could get the man on the podium to fumble through a few words for us here. We're milking it for all it's worth, folks.
Nichols, he also joined the family in calling for peaceful protests. That is an important statement that the president could make. And you have me here reiterating what the president has said, and we're going to continue to do that. It's not the first time.
That is so rich. Did anybody catch that? Well, you have me here to reiterate what the president said. Not elaborate, just repeat. Lady, you're not there to do anything. You're not there to do anything other than be a diversity hire that answers no questions whatsoever. So don't give me this that you're speaking on behalf of the president, right? You're there to reiterate what he says. No, you're not. You give no clarity. You give no transparency. You just refer people to the White House counsel, the DOJ, everybody else, but actually answer questions. Give me a break.
I've laid out the Dobbs decision was a time where we were calling for peaceful protest, and there's been other times even before then. So, and let's not forget Election Day, where we did the same. So I think the president.
What she's going to leave out is the aspect of them calling for peaceful protest in front of Supreme Court justices' homes, which is illegal, by the way. You can't do that. But, you know, that was Jen Psaki, not her, but that was Jen Psaki at the time. She wouldn't actually elaborate on peaceful protesting. Peter Doocy did press her on it, as well as Jackie Heinrich. But, you know, we're not going to bring that up here because we have a certain image to uphold here as the White House. We got a certain image that, you know, hey, we want people to peacefully protest or protest peacefully, as she rephrased it. But, you know, hey, they'll leave that out. But we'll make sure we won't here at the Bald Brad Show. We want to make sure we bring you guys the truth, or at least somewhat of what we know to be the truth, and present it to all of you. So we're on top of it for you, folks. If that doesn't deserve a like and subscribe, I don't know what will. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I'm loving the live chat, by the way.
The president's words really matter. They have weight, and it's important that the American people heard from him directly.
Okay, on the documents, have any more classified documents been located in any places associated with President Biden?
I would refer you to the White House counsel's office.
Okay, and why do White House officials insist that the president self-reported the classified materials if his lawyers initially called the White House and not the Justice Department?
I would refer you to the White House counsel.
But we heard from this podium the other day that President Biden self-reported the materials. That's not exactly what happened.
Who did you hear that from?
Can I answer this? I'm guessing, but I'm pretty sure because we cover every single one. John Kirby, we talked about it. John Kirby on the podium talked about classified documents. And God, who was giving John Kirby the question? Oh, it was Peter Doocy, the Gladiator, that gave him the question. Peter Doocy was like shocked. He was stunned. He was almost convulsing that he was actually getting a question answered here regarding classified documents. But she's just going to refer people to the White House. And as we said on the show, if John Kirby's just blatantly answering questions about classified documents, why can't she? And that's why Peter Doocy's following up here. Let's see if we were right.
John Kirby.
Well, I would refer you to the White House counsel. Go ahead.
So Peter Doocy going a little soft, and here's my take on it. Again, as somebody that's literally covers almost every single White House press briefing, has been watching it for 2 years straight. What I've seen now, there's a trend with Fox News. Fox News goes really hard in the paint on their questions and pisses her off. Fox News doesn't get any questions from a briefing for a few days, sometimes a week. So what they do is they come back, they poke a little bit, and she cuts them off and they don't get questions. Then what they do is, like Peter Doocy's here, they go soft and don't press to make her feel good, right? Kind of warm her up, rub her shoulders a little bit. And I understand they have to do that so they get some questions in. And then what you'll see is later on down the road, then they'll go hard again, and then they won't get any questions for a little bit of time, and then they'll rinse and repeat. So that's kind of the theme I'm seeing here. And not a bad strategy, because at least you're going hard at some point in times, and harder, I would say, than any other news outlet in that room outside of the classified documents. I think everybody's done a great job in that room regarding classified documents, prying and poking, and still doing so. It's just I don't want to keep covering it because she's not answering any questions. That's literally the verbatim of what you just saw there, her going, oh, well, speak to the White House counsel, talk to the DOJ. So other people did ask about classified documents in this briefing, but why keep showing you the same answer over and over again? Sometimes I think it's good to do that just to show you the messaging and the narrative the White House is pushing, but that's the same exact response she gave everybody else. Well, moving into our last segment of the day, we got an update here on illegal immigration in terms of what's going on with the White House and their messaging on all of it. And let's see if you catch the lie here, folks, because it's pretty blatant, but she spins a statistic wrongly, but she's acting as if it is true. And I will elaborate on this idea once we hear the question and the answer. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Alex.
Karine, I spoke with New York City Mayor Eric Adams this afternoon, and he's just very concerned, as he said in media appearances in recent days, that the White House is not doing enough to prepare for a new surge of migrants, many of whom are going to end up in cities like Chicago, New York, here in D.C., and as you know, it's not just DeSantis and Abbott sending buses of migrants to these cities. It's Jared Polis, a Democrat in Colorado as well. So what do you have to say to those concerns from Mayor Adams?
Look, here's what I would say, and I answered this question with one of your colleagues, which is we believe, and we have seen the numbers and the data, that the border enforcement measures have dramatically reduced the number of people attempting to enter the country unlawfully. And I just mentioned the parolee program that was extended to Cuba, Nicaragua, and Haiti, and how we've seen those numbers come down by 89%. And so that's because of the measures that the president has put forth. And so, look, we're going to continue to do the work. I just mentioned as well, we're going to see we're on track to see the lowest levels of monthly border encounters since February 2021. Why is that? It's because of the work that this president has done, using the tools, using what he's able to do from the federal government, from where he sits. Look, when the president walked in, the very first piece of legislation that he put forth was an immigration reform bill. That's how seriously he took this. That's how important it was for him to secure the border and deal with illegal migration. And what he has asked for is to have Congress act. And I know you mentioned a couple of Democrats, but the vast majority of folks who have been pushing back against this have been Republicans. We've seen very, very, in a stark way, the political stunts that they have taken. So, look, he's willing to work on this. He has said this many times. He's willing to work in a bipartisan way to get this done. But in the meantime, he's going to take actions, as we've seen, and those actions are actually working. And so that's how I would answer your question.
Are you encouraged at all by the Tillis cinema talks on the...
So, you guys, did you catch the lie and the manipulation? And this is what this White House really does, is they're trying to capitalize on Americans' ignorance. So basically the policy and the implementation that they imposed was on a certain demographic or geographical area of South America and Central America, in terms of the study that they're utilizing. So if you heard her talk about Venezuelans, for example, that's kind of the type of people they keep talking about coming through. Oh, well, we have a 70% decline in Venezuelans crossing the border. Oh, well, we got it at 89% of this or that. But here's the thing, is that there is about 2 million people crossing the U.S.-Mexico border every single year. That is a small fraction of those actually crossing the border. So she's saying a truth in terms of a statistic that she's utilizing, but in the grand scheme of things, she's making it seem like, oh, border crossings are down. I want to point out to all of you that in the month of December, 4 weeks ago, they shattered a record for illegal immigration, you guys. The month of December of 2022 was the most illegal immigrants that have ever crossed the border in United States history once again. Now, he has shattered this record multiple times. He keeps shattering it. So them saying here, oh, well, it's the lowest record since February 2021 or some number in 2021, that is a bold-faced lie. You literally shattered records, Karine, last month. Like last month you did. So this is what they do, is they manipulate statistics, which a lot of people do. It's not just Democrats, not just the White House. A lot of people do this. And you have to know the study that's being utilized so that you don't get caught up in that manipulation as well, going, oh, I guess everything's fine. So this is what they do. But this is why we do a show here to clarify and spotlight the lies that come out from the Democrat Party and sometimes the Republican Party. Again, I'm a registered Republican. I'm a pro-Trump one. I just have to say that, you guys, because people get upset when you call it your own side, as if like we're beholden to any sort of party. You guys, we're patriots here on the Bald Brad Show. We're not beholden to government. We're not beholden to a politician. We're not beholden to a president. I don't care who it is. So if and when Trump gets elected next term, if he does something good, I will call it out. I just want to be forthcoming, guys. This is who I am. I'm authentic. So if Trump does something bad, I'm going to call him out on it. If McCarthy does something bad, I'm going to call him out on it. If Gates does something bad, I'm going to call him out on it. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, if she does something bad, I'm going to call her out on it. I don't care who is there in government. I don't like government, okay? I am a patriot. Like, do I think government is necessary? Yes. But they keep stripping our rights away. They keep doing stupid stuff. I don't care who's in government. They lie constantly. Republicans lie. Independents lie. Democrats lie. At the end of the day, politicians lie to our faces. We here are a community of patriots. We are the ones, we are the individuals here that make up this country, not these guys, not the politicians, not anybody like that. So I just want to be forthcoming with you all. If that's not something you guys are into, of hearing your own side, Republicans or conservatives being bashed, then maybe this, unfortunately, it's not the channel for you. If you're okay with that, of me just being honest and authentic, going, I don't care who's doing it, it's stupid. Like I said, Trump spending all that money was stupid. You can disagree with it all you want. It's still stupid. Again, I just want you to be, I want to be forthcoming to all of you. So, because we're growing here, and I know some people might not be into all of that, and that's fine. The channel's not here to run a business. The channel here is for me to have a fun hobby and to make awesome friends here and grow a community that wants to be authentic, that wants to call out their own side, call out the good and call out the bad. So let me know what you think about all this below. Thank you so much for always supporting the show. Leave a comment down below. You guys are awesome in the live chat. I'm trying to grow the live chat a little bit here. Have a little bit of fun. I should be engaging more myself, and hopefully we'll do a better job at that. I'm not perfect. But as always, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. And folks, we'll see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show.